about it. All right, streaming. We are live. We're recording. I do want to actually just go over here and make sure we're recording on your end too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There we go. Final check, and it looks good.
Welcome to the Succubus Sexy Special.
All right, well, hold the hotness there.
Oh, yeah.
We need a little, coming, a little, going live and, we'll be here soon.
Coming.
Yeah, it just says coming.
Coming.
I only just said coming would be
I'm going to come.
Get me even closer there.
I'm going to come.
All right, and let me just pull up the song.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. I can't do this without the song.
Oh, yeah, I need it.
What was that, though?
I'm just trying to just downloading info.
All right. And
getting into the character.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we're going to go ahead and...
Yeah. Nice, dude.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Hello. My notable friends, and welcome to a very special edition of Pumpkin Hill Radio. All right, I got it. The Sexy Succubus Special. Okay. Hello, my notable friends, and welcome to a very special edition of Pumpkin Hill Radio. I'm your host, Travis Wormwood, and with me, as always, is my very sensual co-host, Dawson Trailer.
So sensual.
I say that because today is, of course, our super sexy succubus special.
Yeah,
coming
happy
out.
Valentine's
If you're listening
Day.
to it on release day or very soon, then happy Valentine's Day. You know?
Yeah, we're here.
I thought, what better way to celebrate it than get into, sex demons, which took me down a whole road of demonology, tracing it to the first. We get into Lilith. There's going to be a lot of good stuff later. Not even that sexy at all, really, when we get into it. We'll find. But
terrifying.
But, yeah, I'm talking about demons with foot-long fingers reaching in and grabbing preborn babies out of uteruses in ancient Mesopotamia is where we're getting to later on. But before that, welcome to Pumpkin Hill Radio.
Yeah, we're out here, dude.
And every week we dig into esoteric topics, paranormal mysteries, high strangeness of the highest order. Today's going to be no different. And welcome to the cult of the Star Mother. You join the cult by listening. You join further layers of the cult by joining the Patreon, pumpkinhillradio.com/Patreon. Right, patreon.com/pumpkinhillradio.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks to all the new listeners. I see a lot of new people checking in. So what's up to y'all? Send in your paranormal stories and things you want to talk about to pumpkinhillradio@gmail.com. Thanks to all the paying Patreon members and all the free ones. Okay?
Yeah. And the free ones.
I want to say a big thank you to Marilyn Huckins. She's our newest free member of the cult. What's up to you? Think about putting $1 in the bin. But until then, what's up to you? And let's see. And just real quick to our new listeners, if you are running out of content, I see some of y'all running through our whole backlog pretty fast. If you're doing that and you want to hear the earliest episodes, on the Patreon, we have the first 18 episodes.
Check it out.
Locked away because they're too dirty. They're too sexy and mysterious.
Naughty.
Yeah. Some would say not as good as
raw.
But if you want to see how it all started, then check back there. At any paid tier, you can access that along with a bunch of other goodies.
Oh, yeah.
Dawson, before we get into the big show, before we get into the Succubus special,
big meat
as it is, let's just talk about horror this week. You got anything?
Well, last night I started watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977 film.
Nice.
It's good.
Nice.
I didn't finish it. I went to bed, but it was good. I liked it because they're all it's like the beginning when they're trying to figure out what's going on. There's a press conference kind of meeting they're having. And it's just people are these people, they're crazy. Talking about, you saw a UFO, I saw a flying saucer. And then one guy stands up, he's like, I saw Bigfoot once. I met Bigfoot once. And they're like, they all roll their eyes. And I'm like, oh, man.
You're just getting closer to the truth.
Oh, man. They're telling you without telling you, you know? They're saying
well, all those old movies, right? They're hiding knowledge.
Saying the quiet part out loud, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that saying is.
The quiet part is that Bigfoot is maybe an alien. Maybe that'd be a next
Bigfoot
year of Bigfoot.
in the saucer, yeah.
Yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying the year of Bigfoot 2025.
I saw that and I was like, nice.
Well, horror this week for me, I went and saw the movie Heart Eyes with my wife in theaters.
Nice. Hell yeah.
It's like a new slasher movie.
It's good
Very much
Valentine's.
just like, felt like just like an 80s movie. It was good.
Beautiful.
It was cute. It was like, there was some funny parts. It was, just very like 80s campy.
Yeah, nice.
Nothing like revolutionary, but I'd say listen to it, watch it.
Nothing crazy.
It was like, it
Worth
almost
seeing.
confused me at first because they're talking about the Hard Eyes killer, which is like what they reference to him in the movie, and like the news is talking about him because there's like been like past reports. This comes early on in the movie, but it's like there's these past reports and stuff, and it kind of feels like you're walking into like Hard Eyes 2 or Hard Eyes 3. Like it feels like the reference. Like I could see them probably going back to make a prequel to like see like the beginnings of it or whatever. But to me, I almost just felt like I was like, am I just watching? Like it felt like it was following the beats of like Friday the 13th Part 3. Something like that. Like it was like
or like a Scream 3 kind of a thing where there's like a movie being made about it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there's kind of these like layers of it. But it was it was good.
Cool.
There's also just talking about like goofy like movies in theaters this week. There's one called Companion, which is about this jailbroken sex bot. I haven't watched it yet.
Shit.
There's like a weird amount of like Valentine's themed movies this year. There's one with the guy from the Goonies.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Samwise?
No, not Samwise. He's short round in Indiana Jones, and then he's made it. He's been in a few things, but he's in another movie based on like Valentine's Day, but it's like a punchy one, like some kind of action. And like I think even a fourth unknown Valentine's Day movie. I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, what? Yeah, we're just using this year to.
This is a big Valentine's year.
Yeah, I guess
I'm feeling the big Valentine's this year.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
I'm in the spirit of Valentine's.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing all this research. I'm feeling. I know,
Yeah, I kind of like that we didn't do like a history of Valentine's Day. There's like something to it, but
maybe around a year like 4 or 5.
Yeah, we'll get into that eventually. We'll figure out what
Valentine's Day.
What even is Valentine's Day? Yeah.
I was pretty ready because at first when I was researching the topic, I was like, I don't know if there's enough here or like what is it going to be. Yeah. It ended up being great, and there's a ton of stuff that we're going to be able to look into, and I'm really excited. Yeah. But at first I was like, maybe we'll just do like sea monsters. Just not mention it, but I do like
Valentine's Day. I
do like mentioning it. I think it's just goofy to like Also, this week, talking about movies for a second, or this week, the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer came out.
Oh, shit.
And I'm excited about it. I like any dinosaur movie, but they showed this, like, scene of, like, a mutant-looking, almost like half ape, half... You only see, like, the shadows of it, but the way its face looks is, like, it has this large, like, forehead, like, thing, but it also looks like it's, like, kind of standing on 2 larger like front legs, and it has like maybe like a third pair of arms like kind of tucked in right here, like maybe
weird.
I don't know, but
like
it was
a
just
humanoid monster thing almost?
Yeah, I don't know, it just looks very bizarre. I'm excited
that's
for
exciting.
It. Obviously there's a lot of controversy. People are saying it's not a dinosaur movie anymore, and I'm like, whatever. I don't think I don't
just
think
monsters
it's
at
just
this
monsters.
point.
Let's just let it be monsters.
And
some kind of 6-armed monkey thing is what I wrote there.
Yeah, fuck.
That's just like...
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, there's like a lot of nice little movie things happening this week I was excited about.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention if you are local to the Denver area, if you are in the South Broadway area specifically, and you want to support us besides supporting the Patreon for $1, you can also support us. You can support me specifically, I guess, by going to the Mutiny Information Cafe and buying a copy of Obscura and Worlds Beyond, a collection of strange tales. It's a book that I put there. The first round of them sold out, and now we got more of them there, and it'd be great to sell them out again, and really just show them what's up there. Yeah. All that stuff goes right back into the pot anyway, so it'd be great. Just see what we're working on there. Besides that, do you want to say anything else before we dig into the big show here?
Pretty much got to my horror this week already.
Yeah,
it
doesn't got to be much. It's a little banter on top just to brace us for impact here. Let's talk about succubi, incubi, and then after that we're gonna get into the first of their kind as it is. But
classic. I
thought I'd start it out here with just a little bit of something from some texts. The Hammer of Witches. This is pretty controversial. The Malleus Maleficarum.
Okay.
This is obviously some people cite it as this is like how people would explain that somebody's a witch on trial and to get them killed basically. So there's like witch hunters using this to basically get women killed, get people men killed, get people killed by this. So obviously controversial. I'm like, as like I feel like me and Dawson are both pretty witchy ourselves. Like, we don't point at this and be like this is good, because there's some stuff here that's like talking about how you deal with witches and it's unsavory. But I think that with a lot of stuff, it's just there's always like a kernel of truth in it. And so like just the fact that it's mentioning things and talking about stuff, there's just there's a part here within it specifically that deals with succubi and incubi. Nice. So there's cool. So the authors describe these like a 3-stage process of incubi encounters, right? A demon first appears as a just a succubus, incubus, right? A demon first appears as a succubus to collect the seed from a male victim. Okay. Yeah. The demon transforms, preserving the stolen seed, and then that same demon appears as an incubus to a female victim. Oh. Okay. Now it has collected what it needs to create life, right? Because it's like a demon, so it can only have like spiritual means by doing it.
It sounds, not to interrupt, but it sounds a lot like the like alien abduction, like genetic breeding program kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's it.
No,
that's all I'm hearing right now.
That's exactly how they describe like the Greys, right? They have to like collect,
and like hybrid, making hybrid children and shit, and changing human genetics through that.
Right. So that is because the demons are spiritual beings, they can't naturally produce this human seeds, right? But instead they collect it from their like people that they go and infect basically, and they become this like supernatural intermediary to like create reproduction, right? They can like create it within themselves by doing that. And that's how you can get even stuff like the other like fae folk and stuff. Like that's how you end up with like half breeds basically. Yep. Right. That was the Malleus describes in detail how these entities could manifest physically. Okay, so they can create bodies from condensed air. Do you remember when we were talking about Austin Spare?
Yeah.
And some of these like chaos magicians that were summoning elementals.
Yeah.
And they described specifically that it's like it felt like the air was condensing, and like they could like literally see like fingers and fingernails like appearing out of like the like
just thin air.
Yeah, well, just like end of the air though. It's almost like how you can like see a tornado. It kind of like was like that almost. Like you just like the stuff, like the particles are just moving so fast, it just becomes this thing. So that's interesting, right? They can create bodies out of condensed air. That seems like something that these ancient creatures of all sorts can do. Their bodies could be warm or cold to the touch. They could appear beautiful or hideous at will. That becomes a big part of it. This like deception part of it.
Yeah, because they're seducing. Instead of like scaring you, they like use seduction.
Yes, because a lot of these like old monsters, they're not originally shown as like beautiful. It's just that like later interpretations kind of move them that way because because of the so-called shape-shifting ability, if that's what they're doing, if they're like using some kind of mind thing and just changing how your mind sees it. Like it doesn't have to be a physical transformation. It can be like a mental thing on your side too.
They're like presenting themselves like in the most like seductive way to like whoever they're getting.
And they can appear to just one person at a time. They can make themselves visible to like just a group of people, one person, invisible to everybody else. So it's just like the classic like you looking at somebody, nobody else sees it. It's like you see that in like movies and stuff, and it's like, I don't know, freaky,
terrible,
right? Or like you'll see the like possible ghost footage of like security cameras, like people like late at night like acting like they're like talking to somebody, right? And then like sometimes the door like a like revolving door will open or whatever,
or you'll see like a shadow maybe.
And it's like there was nobody on the thing that besides it's like you were talking to yourself. It's like, hey, no, I saw somebody.
No, the new person.
It's weird as hell. It's like no, that wasn't really there.
Nope. That's freaky shit.
They also so this first one was like it's a religious text, right? This like Malleus Maleficarum. It's this like they argue that God would permit these demons to exist based on like to like test faithful, to punish sinners, and to like demonstrate the human weakness basically. So that's just like their workaround for like why they can even incorporate demons. And like even at that point, that's just saying like, okay, they are here. How do we incorporate them into like our range of thought? Like they are.
How do we understand what even is like happening?
But that's like the demons. Then once they're like permitted to come here, summoned here, that says that they cannot create life independently, but that's like what they're trying to do. They require divine permission to act, is what some things were saying, right? and then they can't truly transform themselves. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. They can only create illusions, right?
Yeah.
It's like that mind game, that trickery. But they're still bound by natural laws regarding that, like stolen seed was what it was. They can't like, they're not like moving time with it. They're not like taking it to a different dimension at that point. Right. They said this first document, it was listing signs of attack was excessive lethargy. Anybody else feeling tired? Maybe the succubus is getting you. They this like physical sensations during deep sleep, unexpected marks on the body, progressive weakness and illness, vivid dreams, intimate encounters, and then also like sleep paralysis stuff. So that's where I want to then talk about like sleep paralysis as a concept that is like taken all metaphorically kind of, and I think here on Pumpkin Hill Radio we sort of say that it's like an actual encounter.
Yeah, it's definitely
like something poking through. It's not just like a hallucination of nothing.
No, yeah, it's not just a dream. Like saying something's just a dream, it's like, well, it happened. It was happening.
Yeah, I think
something
like,
was happening.
I think a lot of like demons and especially older creatures have just been pushed into that realm just because of like lack of belief on people's parts, or just like that's where
lack of like evidence or whatever. But it's like, well, I saw it.
But it's like I think some of these creatures that humans were dealing with in like ancient Mesopotamia, which we'll be getting into in a sec here, like I think that they were even ancient at that time, like these creatures were. So it's like now that so much more time has passed, even I just feel like at some point they might just get pushed into like a different plane of existence almost. They might just like their time might be up on this like of that of that existence, and they're just phased into a new realm now, right? Okay, so now exactly, what I was saying, we need to take this with a grain of salt, because this kind of text was used to justify and investigate these suspected natural encounters with like a legal framework, which is kind of cool that they're like, okay, we have this paranormal stuff, let's like create a framework of it, but they're doing it basically to like for the wrong reasons. Like, everybody knows.
Well, it's easy if this shit's happening and something like tricks you, like if succubus visits you in the night and it resembles someone you know, and then you wake up and you're like, this fucking lady came and raped me tonight.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's like, well, you're gonna, it's easy to like point the blame in certain ways, even though there was like an alibi or like evidence that it wasn't. It's like, well, they're a witch. It's like, well, maybe not. Maybe something was like masquerading. You know what I mean? Like,
wearing a mask, right?
And especially, any like paranormal thing. If you like, when you start like prosecuting other like humans for that, it's like, all right, well,
we need to like really have a grasp.
You gotta try to like do something, but it's like that,
Yeah, we need to really have a grasp on what we're doing the year before we start like.
It's such a mysterious thing that it's like, like how do you
burning people up over it? It's like that's
the witch trials,
that kind of stuff. That's right. Yeah. So let's rewind time a little bit, okay? We were in the 14 to 1600s there. Now we're gonna go to the cradle of civilization. Okay, we're in this fertile valleys of ancient Mesopotamia, right? Where there's these like. There's already these demons coming in this earliest.
There's so much shit going on.
Right? This is the birthplace of Lilith, which is the first succubus, if we want to call her that, right? She wasn't known by that name at the time. We actually, so again, this is kind of a little continuation of our demonology research episode that we did on Christmas with Tanner Padlow, because we talked a little bit about this, but I want to get even more in detail about this specific demon, because there's a lot here to unpack, and I just think that there's a lot we could do every demon down the line at some point. But this one felt important to do today, and it was cool to like see some of the research from back then kind of lining up and being able to like grow with it. So last time we talked about Lilitu, which is actually only half of the Lilith like emergence here. We also have Lamash 2 to thank for that. So we'll talk about Lamash 2 first. This was something known as like the primal fear. We're in 2nd millennium BCE. This is when civilization was young. These like people, especially mothers, like daughters, people that were giving birth, like people dealing with infants and stuff, they were talking about a specific demon who would stalk the night. This was Lamash 2. Okay. Lamash 2 was this primordial embodiment of fears where, even today, like pregnancy is like that's a whole thing to deal with. But back then, like there's not as much science here. There's not as much medical like research on how to deal with this. So you're putting up all the spiritual energy you can to fight this thing, to deal with this kind of stuff. So whether it's hard, like if these were spirits beforehand, or if just this like fear and then like repentance towards these things almost created them like retroactively.
Yeah, chicken or the egg, you know.
But so Lamashtu was this embodiment of fear, to basically this like childbirth and infant mortality, right?
Yeah,
which were fucking
terrifying.
huge, right?
Yeah,
this thing Lamashtu looked like had the head of a lion, it had wild unkempt hair, it had unnaturally long fingers, right? And this is for snatching infants, specifically like out of wombs and stuff, even, or just to say like if like a stillbirth, even that kind of stuff. To talk about some of that.
Sounds like aliens.
And also, it also had talking about specific aliens. It had talons of the mythical Anzu bird for feet.
The avians, blue avians.
The blue avians, right? Archaeological evidence, right? Especially because there's the Library of Ashburnipal, right? This was, I don't even know where this is, honestly. This must be over there somewhere in the Middle East. But this is where they have a lot of like evidence for these entities, right? And this was back when everything was preserved on these. I was talking about this before. These like bowls, these ceremonial bowls, where like they'd be like inscribed with like rituals and how to deal with stuff, and like these were the first like demon containment spell things, right? These were when they first started using copper to contain specific entities, and this was where it's like, so some of these like bowls that they were using, so they'd all have spells like written on them, incantations, right? Some of them would just be made, they've been found to be made out of like copper and other materials that are so like expensive and valuable back then. Like they're like in Mesopotamia, copper had to be traded for. It wasn't naturally occurring there. And so to use it for this, like, I guess if you were just completely living in just like one reality, you'd think it was just like an ornamental piece, right? Like it's not, if you're not like using it for any actual demon containment or anything like that, it's like it becomes this, there's no reason to have it, yet like across society, from the most rich person to like these like poor people like on the street, they still have these like versions of this pottery that are like, I was telling you, some of them weren't even, for like the really poor people, it was like they weren't even real incantations on them. It was like because it was all cuneiform at this time, and like all the incantations were like not even real. Like the person making it didn't. They were both like illiterate,
and they're like, well, this is
just trying to copy
about the same symbols.
But it's just even that, like that power of belief, which we talk about sometimes. Like maybe even that would help like to somewhat. But I think like then you say, compared to like then we get these like full copper ones that are still in nearly perfect condition, that have these like specific incantations on the side of them. Like those can still be used today. Those might still be like there's some in museums and stuff. Those could very well be like holding entities. And things, right? Like it'd be silly to think that they weren't really.
I mean, I imagine they just are.
Let's see. Also, this is where I was like, okay, this Lamashtu character, she's, some of the like depictions of her on some of these things, besides like just incantations, are just these actual like like drawings and like carvings of it, and it's Lamashtu like naked with these like big old breasts, right? And she's like, but she's suckling these animals, right? She has like animals at them, right? Which is like super bizarre. I don't know if it's pointed to her being like more ancient than like, you know, and these like she's dealing with like things like before man,
like
even
like a Mother Nature.
Yeah, kind of. And then any infant that would touch her poisoned breast milk would die.
Oh,
excuse me. Are we getting sexy yet?
Yeah. Oh. That's fucked up.
Yeah, not good. Then we'll talk about the other side of that. We'll talk about Lilitu. This is the other Mesopotamian spirit. This is, some would call it the ghost bride. She's kind of a parallel to Lamashtu's terror, right? But she's a different supernatural figure. She was in Mesopotamia at this most early stage of like human development. And that's Lilitu. They can be plural. Like these are like multiple. Yeah. These aren't like single spirits necessarily. These are like multiple. These are like different entities running around that are kind of this like form of spirit. I know when we talk about like some early cultures, it's like the jinn and the hin and all these like races before man that came. These demonic races, these paranormal races. Like maybe this is like a form of one of these, right?
Yeah,
like something that's like still floating around, like a fire spirit. Now that in the era of, you know, earth spirits of like you know, clay built men, they're like still like this old fire thing.
Oh yeah, just kind of popping up in different ways, I guess. Yeah.
The Lilitu were the spirits of said to be the spirits of young women who died before marriage, whose lives were cut short before they could fulfill some of their roles as wives and mothers, and just like have a complete life. You know, even just like growing old, basically.
Yeah.
They were viewed as a mixture. They were still feared, but you're also like sympathetic for them. Some people would leave like tokens out for them, but they're more like tragic than just like malevolent, like the like our other one.
Bad.
Here. Yeah. Some of the texts describe these spirits returning to the mortal world and seeking what they've been denied. So this is them like coming to people in the night and having sex with them, basically, which is like the first form of succubi right there.
Mm-hmm.
They they also they got this was it was like one of the texts said girls who never saw a city feast and whose garment clasps were never undone by a nice young man.
Oh,
pretty sexy ancient text.
Yeah.
It's like
tragic.
Yeah, but just like very interesting. These are like some of the first things we were seeing here, right?
Yeah.
Like these forms of. So there's this the fear of these entities is a huge part of the creation, like the creation of protection magic in general. Not just like new age, not some like new form of protection magic. This is like when they started deciding that they needed protective magic.
Like, okay, we
gotta
do something.
Like so
we gotta do something
across all these levels of Mesopotamian society. They were like trying to think of. They were dealing with they're trying to like ghost bust.
Yeah.
They're trying to like do these like supernatural like.
These ladies are haunting me.
Yeah, they're trying to put up these wards,
I need
right?
to protect myself.
So some of these like some of the archaeological. I keep on saying archaeological, which is
archaeological.
Not right. These records, they show these like elaborate bronze amulets again, different thing like these things that should be
medals.
That are highly sought after, that they're being used for like supernatural purposes, right? They're these carved with these protection incantations, these cuneiform words mostly. They weren't like sigils yet. They were, but if we looked at them today, they would be, because the cuneiform is like an ancient form of writing, right?
Yeah.
They had these clay tablets bearing like hastily scratched spells that they found, and they also found these pseudo inscriptions with like illiterate letters, basically.
Yeah.
That was just like showing
some
like
symbols
everybody was
like,
trying to have this to protect right?
me.
Yeah. Let's see. And that also with the like, so there's these different. Well, where should we go next? Then there's this. Yeah, the bronze is extremely valuable. What are they doing with this? There's like, I believe that they got them from like ancient Greece, trading with like these other ancient cultures at the time, right? Then I know we have the. Let's see. That was the Library of Ash, whatever. Yeah. Okay, let me get down here. Then we're down to this like the first millennial BCE. We have this like, this is when these figures start to like maybe merge or get watered down. This is like when I would even point to like us already forgetting like some of like the heritage of stuff and like the actual like the true names of things, right?
They've just genetically bred with humans enough to like just
to
mutate.
Change it all, right? Yeah, because now this child
more
killing
convincing.
from Ash 2 and this like more seductive Lilith 2, they begin to merge, right? They have this like, then maybe they were always two sides of the same coin, or maybe they're getting hybridized. Perhaps they were like, it's just already like, you can see that pantheon getting watered down. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of like true names just getting lost in time so early on, right? That becomes Lilith. Like when we get those two mixed together, now we have like the seductive and like the demoness side of things, right? Then we get to and then actually, so like then that's when like in the text sometimes they'll just like interchange the names Lamash 2 and Lilith 2.
Yeah.
And Lilith 2 starts to become like more sinister and that stuff too. Then we have you've heard the demon Pazuzu.
Yeah.
He was actually made as a little he was in The Exorcist, but it was not really used necessarily correctly. But this is like, okay, let's see if I just have a little story here. Basically, in this time when the children were falling sick and like struggling to survive, right? They weren't only trying to like banish certain spirits, but they're trying to call certain spirits in, right?
Yeah.
So Pazuzu is one of these like more helpful spirits. This was a guardian, right? This was a protective force against these like horrors lurking in this void space.
Interesting.
So these amulets would bear this like fearsome image on it, and it wasn't like a scary thing. It was supposed to be passed down through generations as like a sacred thing.
Yeah.
So those are like, I don't know if those are still hiding somewhere. These like old heirlooms of just like the first sigils, pretty much, right?
Probably around.
There was, but that's when. Let's see if I can do this. Pazuzu basically becomes, just like Pazuzu is called on to basically protect from Lilith 2 and Lashmi, what was her name? The other one. Those two first Liliths. Then later on in the stories of like some like Jewish Kabbalism stuff, there is like Lilith being cast out by these 3 specific angels that have like specific names that kind of all translate into Pazuzu again. And so it's like, it's just pointing like, oh, it's all right there again. But they've been like separated and like remerged a couple times. It was interesting. I just like seen that little bit about Pazuzu. I don't need to talk too much about that different demon, but I was like, oh yeah, I remember him from the movie.
Yeah.
There are okay, here's a little bit of like linguistic stuff. The term Lilitu in Sumerian text would read Kisikilila. And then then in Akkadian is Lilitu. In Hebrew it becomes Lilith finally. But that like Kisikilila is also the name of like some of the angels that are coming after. It's just this like transformation of things is very interesting. We have this like mention of this like Lilith like entity that appears in this Sumerian story that becomes part of the Gilgamesh cycle. It's like the Epic of Gilgamesh. I'll just read this part of it. Okay. In the first days, in the very first days, in the first nights, in the very first nights, in the first years, in the very first years, when the Hulupu tree was planted by the banks of the Euphrates, watered by the waters of the Euphrates, the south winds pulled at its roots, and the tree was exposed to the raging storm. In the crown of the Hulupu tree, the zoo bird set up nests for its young. In the trunk, the serpent, who knows no charm, made its home. In the roots, the Lulutu built her house. The maiden who had rejoiced in the life wept. And later in that text, Gilgamesh struck the serpent who knows no charm. The zoo bird flew with its young to the mountains, and the Lilitu fled from her home to the wild, uninhabited places of earth. It's like, it's kind of setting up these like most ancient, like some would say like demonic, but they're just like these ancient entities that get kind of tossed around a lot. Remember we talked about the zoo bird earlier. This ancient like beast, and they have these Lilitu almost have like the feet already.
We know the serpent.
We know the serpent.
We know the serpent.
And here's the Lilitu like trying to live in this house and being cast out, right? Yeah. A little later we
banished.
But it's like the tree. Let me just skip down more to the bottom of my stuff here, because that tree becomes, in like the Kabbalah, it becomes this thing, like this Sephiroth, basically. This way to gain knowledge. Let me see if I can just get there really quick.
It's
right here. So
tree of knowledge.
So maybe I shouldn't have skipped around. Well, okay. Let me back it up. A few bits, and we will get there. I need to set up a little bit more first. Okay. With all that stuff, I just wanted to talk about a few other like places where we see succubi and Lilith in text, like after that, basically. And there's in the Bible, like Lilith does come up. There's in the book of Isaiah, it says, "The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the jackals, and the wild goat shall bleat to its companion. Also the night creature Lilith shall rest there and find herself a place to rest."
Night creature.
Yeah,
sleep paralysis.
It's again like talking about her being in this like desolate, uninhabited place. In the alphabet of Ben Sira, this was an 8th to 10th century document, I guess. That's just like coming from. Oh, let's just see. The text presents Lilith as the first wife of Adam, so this is like where we get some of the Dead Sea Scrolls stuff. This it says, when God created the first man, Adam alone, God said, "It is not good for man to be alone." So God created a woman for him, from the earth like him, and called her Lilith. They, Adam and Lilith, promptly began to argue with each other.
Damn,
nice.
Classic.
Come on. She said, "I will not lie."
Can't live with him, can't live without him. You know what I'm saying?
She said, "I will not lie below." And he said, "I will not lie beneath you, but only on top." Oh, geez, it's getting hot in here now. "For you are fit only to be on the bottom position, while I am to be the superior one." Lilith responded, "We are equal to each other, insomuch as we are both created from the earth." But they would not listen to one another. When Lilith saw this, she pronounced the ineffable name and flew away into the air. So at this point, she says God's true name and like fucks off. She gets like cast out of Eden, or she goes away from Eden.
She just flies away.
Yeah.
So she's got wings.
Well, she is depicted with wings somewhere, in some.
I feel like
in
I've
some
seen that.
texts, and some. There's like Mesopotamian ghosts are often depicted with wings. So when she's like depicted in art, sometimes she does have wings and stuff. We'll talk about her whole like look because it changes a lot. Yeah. But just on top of that, in some like Kabbalistic like pretty esoteric texts. This was from Tanner when I asked him. I was like, any other words to say on Lilith? He said her steed Tenenevere.
Yeah.
Is a good mention. Tenenevere is the blind dragon that hid Lilith, Samuel, and Lucifer in a cloak of his wings, fleeing the corruption of the garden. Okay. Yeah. I think I have a little bit on this later. We'll see if it comes up. But that was just good. Just talking about like the cloak. There's like, and that is like we're talking about an ancient dragon then too, as like her like steed, the ancient dragon of Tiamat, and all these different forces kind of combining right there. It's pretty interesting. Maybe we'll do like if we can like actually get through some of this like ancient like Jewish type stuff. Maybe we can like because some of this like is very like magic and hard to decipher. But maybe we can like take the time to get through it, right? Here's another one from the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Songs of the Sage, right? Also known as the song to disperse demons, is and I, the instructor, proclaim his glorious splendor, so as to frighten and to terrify all the spirits of the destroying angels, spirits of the bastards, demons, Lilith, howlers, and the desert dwellers. All right. Yeah. That dates back to the last Second Temple period, and that is that again is like listing her among a bunch of malevolent entities. This is like kind of showing how she translates into more contemporary demonology from being something that's less malevolent, right? Then we have in the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud, which is between the 3rd and 5th century CE. We have in Tractate Nidda 24b, it is stated, Ray Judah. This is when this is already so hard to decipher. Ray Judah citing Samuel ruled, if an abortion has the likeness of Lilith, its mother is unclean by reason of the birth, for it is a child except that it has wings. We're talking about wings right there.
Yeah.
That describes Lilith as a winged being, right? She kind of has this demonic nature. Then again, in the Tractate Shabbat 151b, it says, Robi Hanena said, one may not sleep in a house alone, and whoever sleeps in a house alone is seized by Lilith.
Oh, jeez, I've definitely been seized by Lilith then.
Yeah, you definitely have.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then we have
she's cool.
The Testament of Solomon. Okay, this was written between the 1st and the 3rd century CE. This is like one of the most detailed early accounts of just like female demons and encounters in general. This has a first-hand account from Solomon. Let's see here. And I commanded another demon to appear before me. And there came before my face a spring having the form of a woman, but her body was wholly dark with her face distorted. Ooh. And I said to her, who are you? And she said, I am called Obezuth. And by night I sleep not, but go my rounds all over the world and visit women in childbirth. And divining the hour, I take my stand, and if I am lucky, I strangle the child, for I am a fierce spirit, a myriad names and many shapes.
Damn.
So okay. Yeah.
Bastard.
Yeah. That's pretty scary.
She sounds like a bastard.
Another encounter that involves this demon. And I summoned again to stand before me Onascalis, a female demon with a beautiful form, her body like that of a fair-skinned woman, yet her legs were those of a mule. And she said to me, I am a spirit which has been made into a body, and I am disposed to sleep with men in their dreams and take for myself their desire.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so that almost has like more of like a satyr feel to it, but it is again just like this shape-shifting form. Man. She said she's a spirit, like she's just like taking that form. This was like in our Bigfoot stuff when we talked about like something just being created out of thin air, like by using the materials,
manifesting in the way that it needs to like get you, just to get to you.
Just
taking desires.
So in the Greater Key of Solomon, it also says, if any spirit haunts thee in dreams or otherwise, write this pentacle upon virgin parchment and suspend it by thy neck, and no evil thing shall have power over thee. So there's a little protection for all y'all. Yeah. And in the Lesser Key of Solomon, it says, Asmodeus, who is called by Sindane, is a great king, strong and powerful. He approaches with 3 heads, whereof the first is like a bull, and the second like a man, and the third like a ram. And he giveth the ring of virtues. He absolutely teacheth the art of arithmetic, astronomy, geometry, and all handcrafts. He has under his power 72 legions of spirits of inferior order. Mm-hmm. Now I guess this is mostly talking about like that Asmodeus commands a legion of succubi specifically.
Yeah.
But also like, yeah, dude, I love when demons just teach like math.
Yeah.
Oh, don't learn math.
Dude, that's I mean, you ever
dude,
tried to learn math, dude? That's fucking satanic.
It is. Yeah,
that shit fucking wrecks me.
But
dude.
It's like, come on, guys. Like these guys don't seem so bad. He's trying to teach us like geometry.
Here's technology.
People pay like good money in college to learn this kind of stuff.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the classic, just light bringer energy, you know. Like, you know,
that's
giving you the what's his face, fucking Promethean flame.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, some of these creatures, she shows up as this like flame, right? We got like if you're watching the video, we just lost focus. But she shows up as this like fire spirit so often, right? Which is like something that Jinn do as well. We're gonna take a quick break here, get the video figured out. I also need to use the little boys' room.
Why am I so blurry?
Am I so blurry? Come on back for the Sexy Succubus special. This is Pumpkinhead Radio.
There we go. We're back.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Got back. That's right. Get the piss out.
I just got it. Yeah, we're in a good time here.
Yeah.
Another 15. We're good. Did you have any research stuff? You said you were seeing something.
Yeah, I have some stuff.
Maybe you can come back in and you can say some stuff. Let's see. Yeah. Magic bowls. Talk about that.
Cause I got like some different cultures and shit.
Yeah. All right, let's yeah. All right, let me quick walk it. No, we're good. We'll start with your shit. We're good. All right, and we're back with Pumpkinhead Radio. We're on the Sexy Succubus special. Get ready for more sexiness here. We're talking about
sexual,
pretty horrible stuff actually, but
terribly sexual.
A lot of children dying in this episode. It seems not exactly the stuff I thought.
Well, you know, that's one of the darker parts of sex.
Yeah,
sexy stuff.
Yeah, people that die.
Kids that die.
Sometimes after.
Kids sometimes die.
Yeah, sex does lead to death. Eventually.
It leads to life, which leads to death.
So I got a whole bunch more walking us through the ages here. But Dawson, I know you did just a little bit of research.
Well, I have like some stuff on just some other, cultures, I guess, that have similar things.
Yeah.
So in like Western European folklore, they're depicted as like a seductive female demon who drains men's vitality through sexual encounters. These beliefs are tied to Christian demonology with figures like Lilith. Succubi were also linked to fears of witchcraft, which we kind of already talked about. Middle Eastern, Arabic culture, spirits called Qarina, Qari, with like a crazy accent. I don't know. Similar to succubi, they are believed to engage in sexual acts during sleep and are sometimes associated with pre-Islamic animistic traditions. These entities are often invisible but can appear as animals like cats or dogs.
Nice. Well, dude, okay, great. That goes right to
that's like the sleep paralysis, cats and dogs.
I didn't want to just do a full sleep paralysis episode.
I know, it's so weird how it...
we definitely have another... I know, like, we're kind of recovering some of our old topics with just more information. So, like, sleep paralysis...
Well, it's just tying in... It's like another branch off of some other shit we've done.
Yeah, it does seem
which
like
is just how... I mean...
But, dude, yeah, the seeing dogs at the foot of the bed... like having like a cat sit on you, just feeling that heaviness. We'll get into that, but that heaviness from sleep paralysis seems to come from some of these demons and stuff.
Which I don't know, dude. I don't know. I haven't had in my experience, but I haven't had like a sexual encounter with any of them. But like,
no, it's always been very afraid.
It's been that was like the last thing on my mind.
Yeah,
cool. It'd be cool at least.
Yeah, it's like, come on. I mean,
give me something. Don't just scare me. Like scare me and like give me.
Yeah. Hey. Good luck for us at the end of this. I do have how to just straight up summon one of these things.
Oh, cool.
So.
I have some tips on how to protect yourself too. So you can summon them, but make sure you protect yourself too. You know what I mean? So they don't completely drain you. Yes. What else? African folklore in Zanzibar, the Popoboa is a spirit that attacks men, typically behind closed doors. Similar beliefs exist in other African regions where sexual encounters with such entities are seen as spiritual attacks requiring rituals for protection. So we have a theme here. I mean, there's like these sexual demons attacking men. Watch out, boys. And
just like to say
this is all over the world.
They're all over the world, but also there is like a male counterpart with like it's called the incubus, but then there is even in Mesopotamia it's called the Lilu. Like it's Lilu is the male counterpart. It's just there's almost nothing written about it. I mean, like as far as it is, like it's there, but it seems like it's not as common at all.
No, it's
We have the so from this Mesopotamia, then it grows into like the Greek Lamia, which is like Lamashtu before her, this child-stealing monster associated with infant mortality. This is the story of a mother who loses her child and then finally outsmarts this demon and creates this like metal sanctuary for the child, right? To like keep this thing away from it. Then basically there's like the tale goes from Greece back to Mesopotamia and back again, like with variations of it. But basically this monster who is chasing her like ends up being like calling out and saying it's like her husband. And she says, no, it's not. And then she finally lets him in, and it is her husband, but on her husband is like the demon hiding as like a single hair on his head or like a fly sometimes and like different like, but it's like this thing, and then it gets him, you know? So it's like, freaky. It could be tricky as hell.
Well, the Indian one, the Yakshini in Hindu beliefs is a supernatural female being associated with beauty and sensuality, but not inherently malevolent like succubi. They're believed to grant material desires if pleased.
Well, okay, that sounds more like something more ancient, right? That's something like more genie almost, more like a djinn type thing, which is just like
they're described as guardians of hidden treasures, and part of the tantric practices.
Nice, yeah.
So that's like you know, what is it? What's it like the sex book with all the sex moves? You know what I'm talking about?
It'd be real sexy if we knew that one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's like part of that. I think that's part of that. You gotta like bust some of those moves out on her to get some fucking grant your wishes. I just thought that was cool, and there's like versions that aren't always like just straight up terrible.
Well, that's why it was cool, like seeing like the version that's just like only like the sexual part kind of, and then there's like this like demon part, and they're just like make it mixed together. And it's like maybe it's not meant to be mixed together. Maybe they are separate things, and it's like
right.
Or there's with like the hybridization of stuff, it's like maybe it became this other thing.
Yeah, maybe just people lost the way of how to please these things, and they just start punishing everybody.
Yeah. So I mentioned the only like biblical reference, the only biblical reference to Lilith, and that was like talking about the wild beasts and her like her being cast out and finding a place to rest in this desolate area. This, and again, like her creation alongside Adam, right? We kind of went over that myth. And or like that whole like whatever it is, but I like the part where she says the ineffable name of God and fled from him. It's like, peace, I'm fucking getting out of here. right? In Jewish mysticism, right, it's associated with that Sephiric tree, the Sephirotic tree, I would say. It's connected to this like cosmic imbalance, though, specifically Lilith is, and like linked to primordial chaos, kind of like some chaos stuff, right? Which isn't always bad either. You know, it's kind of how you take it, right? And it's she's also viewed as the counterpart to Shekinah, and Shekinah represents the divine presence and the indwelling of God, basically like mantling God. It actually also is like mostly like the female side of it. It's like sometimes it's even referred to as like the bride of God, right? This like divine presence in the material world. It's also the Shekinah is also the 10th and final Sephirotic, like it's the top of that tree. You know what I'm talking about? That like I wish we had a picture.
It's like the tree of life.
It's like the tree of life. If you are familiar,
I know what you're talking about.
It's all the circles with like lines connecting all of them and having different names. It's we'll get into a tiny bit of it here, but it's so much.
I used to have like a poster with it and it like explained like because there's like different elements to all of it, and then like colors and like frequency and like
so she kind of
vibrations.
She kind of is this final point on it,
and
Lilith is like the counterpart to that. She is seen as like the seed, right? She is like the bottom of the almost the base of the tree.
As above, so below.
Like in the text I was reading, like she like makes a house in the roots, right? Like and then that's like seen right at the beginning of time where like they're writing about this stuff. She kind of manifests most often as like a cloud of glory. It was seen above the tabernacle, right? Which we got to get more into the tabernacle. Am I right?
Dude, yeah. Talking about tabernacles, dude.
Let's go. The Shekinah also appears in the Holy of Holies as the Holy of Holy in the temple, and accompanies the Israelites through the desert wandering. This is all from like some Kabbalistic, like mystical texts at this point. And it just represents that like mantling of God, but also like that like bride of God thing. And
that's so interesting.
Real quick, the Sephiroth are the 10 emanations through which Ein Sof, or the infinite, reveals itself and continuously creates both the physical and metaphysical realms. Okay, this is literally the most like in-depth like system of magic that like humans have basically created. Like it is one of the most intense. This like Jewish Kabbalistic thought, right? Here are the 10 Sephiroths real quick. We have in order 1 through 10. We have Keter, or crown. We have Chakma, or wisdom. We have Bina, which is understanding. We have Chesed, which is loving and kindness. We have Gevura, which is severity. We have Teferet, which is beauty. We have Netzach, which is victory and eternity. We have Hod, which is splendor. We have Yesod, which is foundation. And Malkut, which is kingdom. But there's we can't even get into this. We just can't. I have so much more just right there.
I mean, this is its own thing.
This is crazy.
That's its own thing.
Out at the end, but just finding out that like it isn't, because Lilith is the base of this whole thing. Yeah, Lilith is the base.
Yeah.
It's like
we got to just have like a whole time getting into that, because that like Jewish mysticism is. There's a lot.
It's just too much.
And like the Hermetic principles and all that too gets involved. Yeah. It's just.
Instead of doing that, can I just say a few encounters with Lilith?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
Yeah,
you had
one yourself?
I wish. Spoilers. Dude. We'll see at the end. I'll tell you. I probably haven't. No.
I wish.
Something called the Nuns' Haunting from 17th century France. Right. Mm-hmm. This is the Covenant of Saint Clare, nestled in the misty valley of Dauphiny. Which is meant to be a place of peace, right? The first encounter on one winter night, Isabeau, Vincent, was jolted awake by the sensation of an unseen weight pressing on her chest. Familiar?
Yeah, that sounds
weight on your chest, right? The darkness in her chamber felt alive, thickened, something unholy. She tried to scream, but her voice was strangled in her throat. Then a whisper, soft and insidious, filled her ears. "You belong to me now." Yeah. She saw nothing but felt hands, gentle yet unyielding, tracing the contours of her body. Ooh.
Damn.
That sensation was both terrifying and strongly intoxicating. Damn. When she finally broke free, she was drenched in sweat and her sheets tangled around her like a trap.
Dude,
okay?
Yeah.
The encounters grew more intense. Every night the entity returned, growing bolder. Other nuns heard soft moans and weeps from Isabeau's chamber, but when they checked on her, they found nothing. By morning, she bore red scratches on her thighs and collarbone. Okay?
Oh, no.
A priest was called, and an exorcism was performed within the covenant. As Latin prayers were chanted, Epsidode convulsed violently, shrieking in voices that were not her own. Candles snuffed out spontaneously, and a sickly sweet scent filled the air. Okay, that's like that scent thing too. It's like this weird. The demons always come
all
with
the
scent,
senses,
right?
dude. All the senses fucking come into play with that shit.
It ceased, but she left the covenant. She was broken after that. Basically, she chose a solitary life in the mountains.
Yeah, I would probably do the same.
She just lived in the mountains forever after that.
Dude, exorcisms are so scary.
Right, that was from the 14th. What was that? The 17th century. Yeah, exorcism. Yeah, you're like, I'm done. Even if that works,
scary shit. Because it's like kind of like just real.
And they're like beating a demon out of you.
There's like real videos of like actual fucking exorcisms.
Yeah, being in fact like that. Well, yeah.
Dude,
if you can mantle like a godhood area, like something else can basically mantle you.
When like it's like when it's like a little girl's like voice changing.
Yeah.
And like speaking this like ancient lost language that nobody knows.
That stuff that isn't Latin. You're like, what the hell is that?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah. Let's talk about a new case. This is from 2012. Okay, let's jump in. This is Ethan. Okay.
All right.
Known as a rational man from Bakersfield, California.
Nice.
After a grueling study session, Ethan fell asleep on his desk. He dreamed of a woman, one so stunning he couldn't believe she was real. Long, raven black hair, porcelain skin, deep, knowing eyes. All right. He couldn't wake up, though. It was so intoxicating, he couldn't wake up. The pleasure turned to suffocation in his mind. The air in his room grew thick, and he heard this voice that said, "You called for me," and he didn't.
Oh no!
He's like, "I didn't." Right? The attacks continued every night. The same chick would come in. At first, she was tender, and then he just started feeling drained, that weak and like sickly all of a sudden. Right? Just like too exhausted to function. This would happen usually around 3:33 in the morning.
Yep.
He would feel this lips pressing against his ear. He had deep scratches down his back, stuff that he couldn't do himself.
Yeah.
He moved out within a week, and it never happened to him again.
Yeah. Should have moved to the mountains forever.
Just should have moved.
If I ever have that, I will. Which I've had. I don't know. I feel like I've had some strange dreams, but it was like.
These ones are always like.
You ever see like women you don't recognize in your dream? They're just the most beautiful person ever.
Yeah, it's weird.
And you wake up and you're like, where is she?
Yeah, that was like, it's like, oh, that was like a.
Yeah. Maybe just a demon
what's that?
Trying to get me.
And I have more stories here, but the base of them, we kind of get them right now. I don't want to get anybody feeling too sexy off all this stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, it's like fires will go out, like fires will go out, or like even spontaneously come back, or like candles will like kind of wisp out, and then like come back, like something to do with fire, like that, that ancient fire spirit stuff, where she almost like uses that kind of energy to like break through into the world, or there's like an incubus report here as well.
Yeah.
And then also like that draining of stuff of like energy.
Yeah,
that kind of gets tied in with like there was like a lot of like vampiric stuff I was kind of like having to avoid, so we didn't just talk about vampires the whole hour. Same with mermaids.
Sirens.
Lilith is usually depicted as like having like a serpentine lower half.
Yeah,
and mermaids actually come from this idea of like snake women. These like oldest pictures of them all have like snake tails, and only after a while they became like fish, more like fish-like. And so we see like that mermaid, same like sirens, this thing like I was
getting some like siren stuff too. It's like
it's this like lady of the water, that's like beautiful thing, like hiding something though.
Drags you down to the depths.
Right. It's like under the water, it's like hideous or whatever.
Which like if you take into that, like if she made her home in the roots, so if you're doing that as above so below, there's like the waters above, waters below. She's in the waters below. I don't.
Yep.
I'm just putting stuff together here, but like you know what I mean. Like it could be like a metaphor for it. Who knows? Like. The oceans, the roots of the world. I don't know.
No, you're right. Like these depths, like in the depths, these things live.
Deep things.
In the depths, these things, and like the depths, like goes both ways. Like as above, so below. Like
yeah.
And like the more astral idea, like or even like on different planes, like a different depths about like different planes of existence hiding out there, right?
Oh yeah.
So, how are we feeling about all that stuff? I have. Do you have anything else you want to say about?
I mean, I have like some tips for protecting yourself.
Let's give those tips, and then we'll close out with like a little bit of love potion stuff and some binding spells.
Yeah, let's get into it. So
let's learn how to protect from them first.
Protect yourself. I got 6 tips.
Also, if you're studying magic, definitely always learn how to protect before you learn to summon. Because else you're going to summon it and be like,
you're going to want to learn protection. Well, it's any sport, anything. You want to kind of learn defense first.
Yeah.
If you're learning martial arts, you're learning fight. You're going to want to defend yourself first. Before you learn how to like strike anyone, we're gonna learn how to like dodge and like block punches.
Don't go straight to the summoning.
Yeah, don't go straight to fucking haymakers, you know?
Yeah.
You can get fucked up. So 1, strengthen spiritual and mental boundaries. Meditation, grounding, protective rituals, fortify your energy and reduce vulnerability. Use protective items like crystals, black tourmaline, obsidian, amethyst near your bed. Carry them with you. Whatever. Cleanse your space, burn sage, Palo Santo, incense, especially in the bedroom. Sprinkle salt around your bed or windows to create a protective boundary. Invoke spiritual protection. So call upon like spiritual guides, deities, guardian spirits, chant, through chanting, intention setting and stuff like that. Use dream catchers. They're going to block dream invasions. Often associated with succubi. I have one. It's worked. It's good. And then like any other like religious practices you have, whatever your belief system is, just like, sit into that, use that,
from that.
Yeah, if it's like a prayer, if it's like, summoning other entities that are gonna like help you.
Yeah. Protection magic is an old magic, as we learned. Like there's a lot you can do with it, a lot to move with it. Like just remember, all these things have specific names you need to use specifically, and like use them right, or you're calling upon the wrong thing. So if you're calling for like an actual protection spell from a certain deity, make sure you're not accidentally calling out to some like demon that's gonna like cause you harm instead.
You have to stand firm in your confidence and your energy. That's like the last one. That's like the last part of it.
That's a good just life.
You have to like, just like be, just be sure of yourself. Don't be like, oh no, nah, can't be wishy-washy. You got to be like, this is what I'm doing. This is what it is. I know this is what it's good for. This is that.
And are we feeling good about all that? We feel pretty secure.
I feel secure. I feel safe.
All right, then I'm going to tell you.
I'm pretty well protected. I'm already doing a lot of that already, so it's like, all right.
I'm going to tell you how to summon one of these bad boys. All right,
nice, let's
and
go.
just to get someone to fall in love with you as it is.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's do it.
So the Ars Notoria is a part of the Solomonic cycle of texts, believed to be written in the 13th century, and claims much older origins. It's probably at least written from, it's like this is when they finally compile all this stuff. It's like these ideas have been circulating for generations beforehand. It's one of the 3 books in the Lesser Key of Solomon, alongside the Goetia and the Pauline Art. Unlike other grimoires, though, it does focus on the preparation, right, rather than the summoning stuff. So this first part, again, it's kind of a lot like what you said, DOS. It's like, but it's like, so dietary requirements, they're saying abstain from red meat. No red meat, all right, if you're trying to do this. Fasting, okay, bread and water on specific days, okay. Drinking only blessed wine, which, that's sick. And then also eating and preparing meals in silence. Okay.
Ooh.
There's also stuff about like mental preparedness, kind of what you're saying, just like keep yourself on lock.
You gotta lock in.
It's ritual knives, specific herbs that you list, and rocks like stones that you listed. Also, again, with like the lunar stuff and astral stuff, you want to be like in the right time. And then it mentions virgin parchment. I don't know if you're gonna be able to find that at like Office Depot.
Yeah, I don't know what makes it virgin, but
probably like unbleached and all that shit.
Oh
yeah. Like as far as you could go today, like, but that's like as far as writing anything, I would probably say like you can use like just like straight up shitty computer paper, but if you want to like treat your spells right, you could get like a nicer. That's
probably a way to do it real good.
Yeah. You can make your own paper if you want.
Just get a slab of wood.
Paper, and then the timing stuff. It there's a text. Let the operation begin at the dark of the moon when Saturn is in ascendance. Saturn, right there. Why would they mention Saturn? Saturn worship stuff. I can't even do this right now. It's too late in the day.
Yeah.
All right.
Jeez.
The hour must be that of Mercury, and the day must be free from storm or excessive wind. Okay. Preliminary prayers. Let's see. On the first day, recite the prayer of Solomon 7 times at dawn. On the second day, speak the orison of the angels at midnight. On the third day, chant the names of power at both dawn and dusk. The sacred names, these are some grimoires will give you the true names of stuff. They need to be spoken with perfect accuracy. I was saying, even a single error may bring disaster upon the operator. Practice them in silence until they flow like water from thy lips, is what it says. Okay?
Yeah.
So just pretend to say shit until it's going to flow like water from thy lips. All right, and then it also, just like we were saying, even all these old grimoires, they have all these warning passages. It literally says, like, let no one attempt these arts who is not properly prepared, for the consequences of error are dire. Many have been driven to madness by attempting these works without proper preparation. If thou feel fear or doubt during the operation, cease immediately. Better to abort the ritual than to continue with imperfect will.
Yeah.
All right, fucking nice fucking words right there. All right, but
chill on. Fuck this shit up.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go insane. You'll go insane. Everything's gonna be ruined.
Here's some summoning, just like the actual ritual sequence. Okay, we have the final purification. This is after. Okay, so bathe in consecrated water, dress in clean linen, and enter the circle before midnight. This is after you prepared for months or years, probably, right? Okay. Make the bounds of. Okay, circle construction. Mark the bounds with holy names. Seal each quarter with the proper signs. So this is drawing the circle beneath you, kind of that like key of Solomon beneath you, basically.
Yeah.
The initial invocations begin with the prayer of protection, followed by the name of power. So this is where you're gonna find your demon that you're trying, like a specific succubus demon. If you're just trying to get to Lilith, watch out. She's pretty high up there. Main operation is when all signs are favorable, proceed with the grand conjuration. And then after that, you need to dismiss this thing. Under no circumstances shall the operator leave the circle before properly dismissing any spirit that may have been called. Okay, you hear that, everybody? We're not going to do this. We're not going to let too many spirits out of the box right now, okay? That's not what we're trying to do. Real quick, I do just have then a couple binding spells. So use those spells we just said, the ritual, to find your specifics. You can find these demon names in places, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Here's erotic binding spells from the Papyra Graecia Magnesia.
Ooh.
Or the PGM. Okay.
Nice.
Original text translated from Greek. I adjure you by the dead spirit underneath the earth. I bind you, name. Daughter of, name. To love me, name. Son of, name. Now, quickly. Let her not be able to eat, drink, sleep, or joke, or laugh, but let her leap out of every place, every house, being led by my spell. Let her soul and heart burn until she comes loving me. Let her sexual organs burn until she comes to me loving me, wanting me. Name forever. Wow. Okay, guys.
Damn,
watch out with that one. That's
careful.
Yeah. Here's the reverse of that spell.
Yeah, be sure you want to be doing that.
And if you want, and you fucked up and you need to undo that, here's how to separate that. Take a lead tablet and write this spell. I deposit this binding charm with you, chthonic god Pluto and Persephone and Demeter, with all the chthonic gods. Bring up your power and fulfill this perfect charm for me. That's how you get it to separate. I got a spell of attraction here. Take clay from a potter's wheel and make 2 figures, a male and a female. Make the male in the form of Ares, armed, holding a sword in his left hand and threatening to plunge it into the right side of her neck, and make her with arms behind her back and down on her knees. Oh gosh, the instructions for this one.
Woo.
Let's see.
It's getting hot in here.
Yeah. So when you talk about these chthonic deities, these like super deep, these like it's like that's where Cthulhu comes from basically.
Yeah.
Is these like these deep beings, right? I call upon you. Yeah, we talked about that one. The erotic demons. I invoke you. Oh yeah, I think we went over it, but it's. How do you feel about all those? How are we feeling out there? Is anybody turned on?
It's kind of hot.
So
kind of hot.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to end on some other stuff.
Careful though.
There's also all kinds of like just on Valentine's Day stuff. Like there is all kinds of like ancient Greek and Egyptian love potions. These different like Indian texts talk about ways to, like approach like love magic basically. But with that though, let's just close it out because we're getting blurry again.
I'm so out of focus.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. That's been Pumpkin Hill Radio. I'm Travis Wormwood. That's Dawson Trailer. Join the cult on Patreon if you haven't yet. You can unlock exclusive content, get free stickers, get a shout out. Even if you're on the free level. I don't know if you heard that shout out at the beginning. Patreon.com/Pumpkin Hill Radio.
It's my rings.
Rate and review us. If you love the show, give us 5 stars wherever you listen. You can even leave reviews in most places. There we go.
Nice, dude. That works.
Those reviews really help us reach people. I've seen a great load of reviews coming in. A lot of 5-star stuff. We really appreciate it. If you have less than 5 stars, please just email us instead, pumpkinhillradio@gmail.com. Also email in your ideas. You can find all of our links to all of our socials and everything at pumpkinhillradio.com.
Yeah.
And from there, you can talk to us and everything. We got the website, DOS. We are... Just news, we are an official business now. We have the LLC, so we're locked in now. Me and Dawson actually
Married
have a
in business.
bank account together. So,
sick.
With that being said,
I mean, hell yeah.
Yeah. What was the any closeouts you want to try on, Dawson, this week?
I love you.
Yep.
Careful.
Bye, all.
Careful out there, guys.
Yeah, I hope you'll have a sexy succubus Valentine's Day special.
Don't get too sexy, though. Might cost you.
Don't get too sexy. That was where I ended it.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Good. That was good.
There you go, yeah.
They're always good.
Hour?
Yeah, a little. I mean, we started recording, like, it was pretty fast on there. So, yeah, it is a good hour. Save it. Okay, sweet. Thanks, dude.
Nice.
Get that done.
Got it.
Yeah, we fucking got it. Nice. Now we're still on top of stuff. We still got everything good.
Yeah, I think there's like the one log.